Good morning, everyone. My name is Demira. I am the transfer rep for the University of Rochester. Besides working for the University of Rochester, I am also an alum. I was class of 2018. While I did not transfer to the University of Rochester, I came in as a first-year student. I was a first-generation student, and I currently have a sister who's at her last semester at BMCC, which is a community college in New York City, which is where I'm originally from. So I'm really passionate about the University of Rochester and our transfer community. I want to thank you all so much for attending, in the morning. This is actually, I believe, our third ever virtual transfer panel. And so I'm really excited to have you all here and to have our awesome panelists here who I'm going to, let talk in a bit. But before, I wanted to get some basic info out there. This is a Zoom webinar and not maybe like a standard Zoom meeting that some of you might be used to. What this means is that you can see the five of us, but we cannot see you. Instead, if for you to get your questions across, there is a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. So you can just, enter your questions in there, and me and the panelists will try our best to answer as many questions as possible. It's also possible to ask questions anonymously if that's something, you feel a bit more comfortable doing. And yeah, again, I'm just really excited to have everyone here. And now I am going to turn this over to our panelists. Why don't we start with you, Claire?
All right, guys. My name is Claire. I transferred to the U of R in the spring of 2019. So we just finished my third semester here. I'm a rising junior. I transferred here from the United States Merchant Marine Academy, which is one of the 5 federal service academies. So that's kind of a cool, interesting fact about me. And I'm currently involved in a bunch of campus communities, but probably the 2 most important for me right now. I'm in the Naval ROTC unit here, and I'm also an assistant trainer for Meliora Fitness, which is a club, technically a club sport, but we've got we're the largest club sport, and it's a really cool time, and we have twice a week workouts. Really cool thing to check out if you come here.
Mafe?
Oh, hi. Well, my name is Mafe. I'm a transfer student from Peru. I went to university here. I'm in Peru right now. So I went to university here for 2 years, and then I transferred to the U of R in the fall of 2018. I'm a political science and economics major. And yeah, I'm involved in a lot of stuff on campus, but I'm one of the things I enjoy the most is being in a sorority. I met so many friends through that, and I'm really grateful.
I'm Matt. I transferred to U of R also in the spring of 2019. I'm a rising senior, which is so weird. It goes by so quickly. And I'm studying chemistry right now. I think I'm probably going to stick with it. I don't think I can really change this late in, but I'm also involved mainly with the radio station here, WRUR, which is another cool place to go. A little shout out if you decide to transfer. We need people. We want people. Got to play your music.
If you want, Matt, you could put the link to WRUR in.
Oh. Let me see if I can find it, because we have a new upgraded website. So there's a good plug. But yeah.
Hi, my name is Rakaya. I am transferred to the University of Rochester fall 18. Just like you mentioned, I actually transferred from BMCC, the community college. I finished my associate degree in math. I transferred to University of Rochester to complete a degree in ECE, but I'm kind of not entirely clear on that anymore, and I don't know. So I should graduate by May 2021, so I don't know.
If it makes you feel any better, Rukaya, I was a computer science major until my second semester junior year, and then I switched to history, so there's always time to change.
Right.
So yeah, this, these are our panelists. Again, if anyone has questions, feel free to put it in the Q&A box. Why don't we start, with our panelists just, talking a little bit about why did you decide to transfer from your previous institution? And then, what made you choose the University of Rochester?
All right, I'll start out. So when I decided that I wanted to transfer out of my first school, I was like sort of thinking about like all the colleges that I applied to coming out of high school, and University of Rochester was always my number 2 choice. And so I was like, well, I really loved University of Rochester. They had a lot to offer. Their cluster system was like the most attractive thing to me, because like I could study what I wanted and explore different topics without like being overloaded by like gen ed stuff. So I reapplied to Rochester, fully knowing that I was gonna fall in love again with everything about it. And then when I got in, I was like, yes. And I immediately accepted, because I was just so excited to be a part of the Rochester community again and all that it has to offer.
For me, it's like a funny story, I guess. So I started university here in Peru, and I never in my life thought that I would move like to the U.S. and like study something at the University of Rochester. So I started studying economics here, but the system is different. So basically, you choose like a major and you have to stick with it for the whole career. And it's everyone takes the same classes, like you can't change anything. And I didn't really like it's crazy. And I didn't really like the major here. So I started looking for options in Peru. And then one of my friends was in the US studying in Cornell. And I was like, and I asked him how like the process to transferring was. And he told me like that it was easy. He explained the process to me, and I was like, okay, I might as well try it. And I started looking at universities over like the US, and I really like Rochester because of its open curriculum. And yeah, like I went to visit and I loved it. And well, I transferred. I applied, and yeah, here I am.
So I was kind of drawn to U of R because I transferred from like a smaller liberal arts college, and which was cool. I like it's nice, but especially when I was really like focusing down on like chemistry, I wanted to be in a more like science and like research place, because the place I came from was mostly like journalism and film. And so I just kind of was like looking around, and I accidentally applied to U of R. I was trying to apply to University of Buffalo, and I got them mixed up because chemistry is very different from geography, I guess. And I don't know, I was like, oh my God, this school is so good. I had no idea. I was like, University of Rochester is amazing. And then my friend who was like, oh, apply to University of Buffalo was like, that's not the school I recommended. You did your own thing. So it was a little accidental. And then, yeah, I did the application because I like couldn't sleep at night and I had insomnia. So I like wrote it all in one night, and they took me anyways, which was really nice of them. It's so far it's been good. I don't know. I'm glad I transferred. It's been what I looked for. So yeah.
I love the fact that you didn't mix us up with RIT. You mixed us up with Buffalo.
I don't know. Upstate New York.
So I sadly don't have like I really liked U of R story. I mean, I had to transfer because I completed my associate's degree. There was nothing else to do there. And I joined a transfer program that pretty much attempts to put community college students in like private four-year universities across. So I applied to roughly like 12, 13 schools. It was like a serious process. I didn't visit the U of R. They were the only college that allowed me to transfer in to study engineering in like a 3-year mark. So, and the financial aid was great. So I just took it. Like, it was just school to me. Of course I know about the university. I had to write the essays, but like, I didn't. Yeah, sorry about that. It was entirely,
It's a spectrum of how you figure out the U of R. For some people, it's thinking we're university at Buffalo. For others,
right.
At first sight.
At least I knew.
So I'm so sorry, Matt, I will stop. What would you say it's been like, attending Rochester so far?
Um, I'd say in one word, an absolute like an adventure. Like I know Matt from our transfer student orientation, like, and I still see him like around campus all the time, and like I still have friends from transfer student orientation. I lived with a group of transfer students that I met at orientation. Like I think, like honestly, I think my biggest concern coming to Rochester and transferring here was like, oh, I'm not gonna fit in. I'm not gonna find friends because everybody else is already like found their group, but that was totally not the case whatsoever. And like I even met friends like from the transfer friends that I met, and like it just like started expanding. And once you get more involved in campus communities, it's like everybody is so nice here and like welcoming, and everybody wants to kind of get to know you and who you are as a person. And it's like the most awesome thing to be able to just have like an immediate connection with someone that you just randomly meet on campus. So I'd say it's like just awesome. I don't know any other word to describe it.
Like what Claire said is right. Like I was so scared when I first transferred. I was so scared because I thought I was not gonna fit in. There was like the language barrier, like the culture shock, and I came and I had been in college for 2 years before, and I already had my group of friends and like, everything. Now I was like, oh my god, I'm like 19 years old. Like, what am I gonna do? Like meeting people again, and yeah. But I met like a lot of people, and oh, and also I was like really scared because my university back home was really small, and I was like, oh my god, the university is huge. Oh my god. But to be honest, it's not that like
That's
big.
what
Like
I
everyone knows each other. Like I when I go to class, I see like at least 20 people I know in the way, and it's like, I don't know, it's fun to like see familiar faces on campus. Um, and yeah, like I don't know, I really love it. I was not happy like in my previous university, and like when I transferred, like I don't know, everything fit in. I got to pursue my double major that I really wanted, and I'm graduating in December. So
cool.
Transferring was pretty cool. I feel like maybe it was just for me. I was not prepared for the work, or I was okay. I was prepared for the work, but it was like a big step up, definitely. Um, but it was good. I feel like it's been really worth it. I mean, that's kind of why you go to school is to like get good at doing school and learning. And so that for me was like the biggest thing where like academics were like took over a little bit because you just have to at least, or also I was getting into the more of the upper level classes because I transferred in kind of later. So it was a big like, I don't know, I felt like I was among real people. I was like, oh no, this is where scientists are. I was just textbooks before, but these like kids were like, they're like I'm gonna be a doctor and I'm gonna cure this, I'm gonna do all this stuff, and I was like, oh no, they, oh boy, where am I? But it's been really cool, and like there's been, oh, like the coolest thing is like, especially even if you're not into science, like there's so, because it's like a bigger school, like there's always a place to do research or to like do a senior thesis and all those kinds of things. And people are so nice. Like I worked with so many grad students who like took me in like I was this little duckling, and were like after my first semester, they were like, it's okay, we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna teach you how to do everything. And like that like really made it for me. Just like how nice people were at like giving you a springboard to kind of go off and be like a real adult who's going to do real academic stuff.
I mean, he like you mentioned the academics. I guess I didn't. I don't think I was entirely prepared for that. Seeing as I was changing majors, I'd say what really bummed me out with my transfer would be that there was an expectation that I should already know exactly everything I wanted in life since I'd already like completed some part of my education. So that like just having the answers and being like somewhat responsible, I didn't like, as it like concerned my major. Besides that, it's been entirely great, and I don't have the same like I didn't have the same concerns with like meeting people because I transferred with like 5 people
Oh,
from my program, so like it was not. I didn't feel like it was the Wild Wild West. I came in with friends, we're graduating together and stuff like that. So
that's so nice.
yeah. So we have some questions that I just want to address really quick. One of which is about how does housing/meal plans work for transfers. So when it comes for transfer students, y'all are going to get your enrolling student packets for anyone who's been admitted and enrolled. Probably they start going out next week, and then they go out on a weekly basis. You fill out the housing contract. If you say that you want to live on campus, the housing office will try to fit as many transfer students as possible on campus, but campus housing is not guaranteed. We do have an off-campus housing coordinator, and I can provide the link to that page in the chat box for everyone to kind of see. So that's like a great way to get housing. And then your meal plan does depend if you're living on campus or off campus. And then we have some questions about, orientation. I am going to provide the website link for orientation. As of right now, the university, we are committed to having, classes and operations for Zoom on campus during the fall. Same thing with orientation. So, you could go on their website to get more up-to-date information. Because again, we really understand the fact that, we are a residential campus. And so we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that we can have students on campus. Obviously, we're going to have, contingency plans in case anything happens, but we are committed to having classes back on campus during the fall.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Just in case anyone's worried, we really are committed to having classes on campus during the fall. Of course, we have contingency plans because we never know what's going to happen, but as of right now, that is how we are leaning forward, and we are going and making sure we're prepared for that. Okay, so someone asked, how is the weather?
Oh God.
Would people like to talk about, what's the Rochester environment like?
Well, you definitely want to invest in a good coat that covers the upper portion of your lower legs. It really makes a difference with the wind, especially in the spring semester. The temperature really, really drops as soon as you get to mid to late November, and you want to be prepared for that. On the other hand, fall semester is absolutely gorgeous. Everything's turning, different colors, and it's my favorite time on campus. And everybody's out playing frisbee on the quad and whatever. Definitely also want to invest in a good pair of snow boots or rain boots, because more of the time it's raining or really wet snow, and then it turns to slush immediately. So then you're walking on sidewalks and getting your shoes dirty, and you don't want to ruin a good pair, an expensive pair of shoes that may look good but doesn't really do the job in protecting your feet. As far as everything else goes, you kind of get used to the temperature. When it starts to warm up again, you'll probably see me around campus walking around in shorts and a sweatshirt in 30-degree weather. That's how used to the cold you get, because sometimes there are days where the wind chill is I think spring of 2019 we had a couple days where the wind chill was negative 15. It was absolutely horrible, but everybody's in it together, so we can all complain and talk about it together. And you can use the tunnel system, which is another great thing about UR.
Yeah.
Also, everyone gets used to it. I can tell you, I'm from Peru. I had never ever lived in a place that had snow, and that I didn't know that when I went when I transferred to the U of R.
You didn't know we would have snow?
I mean, I knew that there would be snow, but I didn't know it was gonna be that cold. I went to visit Rochester during the the fall, so I was like, oh my God, the campus is gorgeous, so hot. But yeah, when my first winter was insane. I was not prepared. I was not used to it, but now it's just it's fun. I love going like oh, what is it called when you like
Sledding.
sledding? Yeah, it's so much fun. And I don't know, I actually love the snow now, and everyone gets used to it, and the tunnel system really helps. Use the tunnels like my first semester I didn't use the tunnels at all because I was scared of the tunnels. I thought I was gonna like lose myself inside or something, but no, it's really simple. It's really simple. Just use them.
Yeah, the weather just teaches you humility. It's pretty, but it's good. It's good. Like, yeah, you get used to it. It's not too bad. If you have like some kind of boots or like, oh, layers. If you transfer layers, they can be cheap. There's like Goodwill. There's like thrift stores really close to campus. There's a couple of days you just go, you get a couple layers for like $20, and you'll be set. Like I don't like the cold. I'm a baby, but it's like it's easy. It just you just don't want to mess around, and sometimes the outfit and the aesthetic you can't do it, and you just gotta practice self-care and save like you just gotta save your whatever circulation.
I live in New York City, so it's cold. Like, it wasn't no surprise that Rochester is really cold. Everyone's already said just about everything. The weather is sometimes great, most times not, especially when it's snowing. I'm sadly not that much of a fan of the snow. So I pretty much just get a coat and stay out. Just stay out. I do not stay outside. I use the tunnel system. If I can,
Yeah.
if I can avoid it, I just don't go outside.
Yeah. I do want to stress that if you're from the Northeast, it's not like Rochester is gonna all of a sudden be 1,000 times worse. We're from New York City, Rukaya, so it's like the and the one benefit is you got to admit the university is really good at shoveling snow. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's
they're
fast.
really good.
Yeah,
I never see them coming.
Like if you're like on a wheelchair, then you might have some concerns. Like surely.
Ice will get you. So someone has a question where they said, they are an international student who applied to Rochester and they would like to know a bit more about the international community, diversity, and student activities. I could definitely give, an admissions response, but Mafe, I wanted to know if maybe you had anything you'd like to share.
Yeah, so I'm an international student and I really, really like the community in Rochester because it's so diverse. One thing about like Peru is that everyone is the same. Like everyone is like Latino, everyone looks the same, like no diversity whatsoever. So when I came to Rochester, I was like, I don't know, I was just so grateful and fascinated like that I was able to like learn about other cultures. The international community is amazing. I have friends from like everyone in like Latin America that I like didn't know before. Just for the simple fact that we're international, there's like a lot of resources for international students. There is groups for like every type of like group that you would like to join. And yeah, everyone is like really welcoming and it's great. Like, and something that happens is that like, for example, for me, I applied to like Rochester, and when you get into like an admissions page in like Facebook kind of thing, and one of the admissions workers was from Peru, and she's a student, and she kind of like took me under her wing, and she just like introduced me to like a lot of people, and she helped me a lot during like the transfer process.
So a few more logistics questions that I've gotten that I'll make sure to answer. Some people have wondered, is there a website to find out which credits from their previous university will transfer? There is not a website. However, if you send me, and I'll put my email here at the bottom of the chat, if you send me, a copy of your transcript, like let's say you have an abundance, you're just curious, you can send me a copy of that transcript. It could be unofficial just for this purpose, and I can give like a really quick prediction of, how many credits will likely transfer. All credits that transfer to Rochester come in as elective credits, and then it is up to the student to go to the departments to get equivalency. So, like if you took Calc 1 at your previous institution, you would go to the math department to make them say, yes, this Calc 1 class equals our Calc 1 class. So yeah, everything come in as elective credits. And then some people are wondering, the time frame of when they can expect, hear decisions. So it depends on, when you submitted all of your material and when the review began. It's usually within 6 weeks that we give a decision. So, if it's very important to check your MyRocks account to make sure that you've submitted all your material, because sometimes students are like, I submitted my application weeks ago, why haven't I heard anything? And then it turns out we're missing like a transcript. And so it's never actually begun the review process. We expect to come out with more decisions in late May, of 1 or 2 batches in June, and then our last batch of decisions usually go out in July. So that's around the timeframes when you should hear from us. So again, just making sure that you submitted all the material so that way, you can find out sooner rather than later. Also, I want to make it clear for some students when they get their admissions decision, let's say they get admitted, they're super happy, they're waiting for their financial aid package and it never comes. Make sure you submitted the FAFSA and the CSS profile if you applied for an aid, because if you didn't submit both of those materials, your financial aid package isn't coming because we need those 2 documents in order to create a package. So,
I think for international students, it's only the
yes,
for
international students, it's only the CSS profile.
Yes, that one.
Yes. So, again, if you're applying for aid, just make sure that you submitted the documents, or else you're waiting for a package that is never going to come. So do any of y'all have maybe a favorite memory from so far attending the University of Rochester? We're getting specific.
Honestly, probably one of my favorite memories was actually transfer student orientation, because they provided us with this one night where we all went to the local bowling alley, and like we took like a high school bus there, and it like brought me back to like high school memories. And then I was bonding with new friends, and that's where I like was also able to meet like a lot of the international students who were here for like 1 semester, like on exchange. I made like a lot of good friends from like Australia, and it was like so cool to like connect with all these people. But like that bowling, and then they provided us with like food and pizza, and it was all free. So like, I'm a fan of that. I don't have to pay for that. But like that really provided me with like my first solid group of friends where I felt more at home in my first couple weeks at Rochester, before I really got to know the other people in my classes and within my major. It was just like a solid beginning, and that like kind of shaped my whole like outlook of the first couple weeks of classes.
For me, I also love transfer orientation, and I made like a lot of friends there. But I think my favorite memory was this semester. The past semester. And it was one night that I was just like, me and my friends were hanging out, and it was like midnight, and the first snow had like come. It was like a blizzard, I think. So the like whole campus was covered in snow, and they were like, we should go sledding. And I was like, I've never gone sledding in my life. And it was like midnight, 1 a.m. and we were like, okay, if you haven't gone, we have to go. And I was like, what? And they took me to sledding at like 1 a.m. and it was just like really fun. Like it was on campus, like near the Subi like hill. And I had never done it, and I don't know, I was so excited about that, and I had so much fun. And I was really grateful for having like for Rochester, because it like made me have such a great like group of friends. So
I think for me, I don't know. I feel like this is weird now. Everyone else's story so far has been sweet, but mine was just like walking around campus, and I would get so surprised at how much there was. I was like, oh, like I thought it was like a little city, because I was coming from like a small liberal arts college where there's like everything is just like in one place, which is cool. like I have like a specific time I like was just like wandering around a library, and I was like, they have a philosophy section, because that's like I transferred as a philosophy student, and I was like, oh my god, like in my old school it was like a shelf, and they're like, there's everything you need to know, but here there's like if you go to the main library, there's like the stacks, and it's just like floor after floor after floor of like any book you could ever want to read, like anything. And then they're like, oh, you should see the science library, where it's like the same thing, but instead of like social science and humanities, it's just like floor after floor of like engineering and science and like physics and all this stuff. And so like for me, I was like yeah, it's just that feeling of like, oh, these are real adults now. There's like there's actually like resources and big buildings with a lot of libraries. I don't know. It was just like kind of mind blowing for me. I'd never seen something like that before.
I can't complain about the programming board at Rochester. I don't think I've ever been short of activities to participating, not the movies, not just general activities like programming for students. That's never been like a concern. Yes, absolutely. Rochester has stuff to do. It really does. Yeah, I'd say, I don't know. Most of my what I'd call special moments at Rochester have been surrounding people I transferred in with. So I don't know what this is like. Like, I think the rest of the panelists can speak to this, but I transferred in with a cohort of people, and there was no external need to go do, like, I did join WRUR for a while. I'm still with the campus newspaper, which has some members of WRUR, so that's kind of cool. So you can like meet people who like cross like EU learn activities in different activities together. So that's always fun. I guess that's the most fun part. And just collaborating. I think coming up with like creative projects to do on campus for activities that you're in is my most fun part.
So we've got a few questions, with students asking about the average GPA for transfers. So I can tell you that the average GPA for enrolled transfer students, at their current institution is about a 3.6. But I want to make it very clear that there is no GPA cutoff when applying to the University of Rochester. We employ holistic review, which basically means, for transfer students is, you're going to say what major you are considering transfer, you're considering pursuing at the University of Rochester. And we're going to look at, mainly the coursework in that major that you're considering. So, if you're someone who's like, I want to be an English major, and you got like a C in calculus, honestly, we don't really quite care about that C in calculus. We want to see how you're doing in those English classes. If you're like, oh, I want to be, a math major, and you got like a C in history, we're not really concerned about that history grade. We're looking at those math grades. And so I really don't want people, to think that their GPA is what's going to make or break them. It's really, just a matter of making sure that you submit all those materials. I highly recommend students, interview. We offer them virtually. We offer, I believe, like 18 slots a day to do a virtual interview. So, just really letting us get to know you as a person. And we're always trying to grow our transfer community. We're wanting to make sure that we bring a group of people from different backgrounds to do the work here. Okay, someone asked, what's your favorite part of University of Rochester, which I know I asked about the favorite memory, so if you guys think that's a bit too similar, don't worry. But they also wanted to know maybe what's your least favorite.
Yeah.
Okay, so my favorite part of Rochester, this is going to sound cliche, but like the ability to experience literally all of the seasons, like it almost seems like they're compressed, but like, because fall semester, you get there in August and it's like super hot out, and then like it quickly starts to decline in temperature and the leaves start to change like super fast, and then you're in winter, and winter lasts about, I don't know, 5 months in Rochester. So that's probably my favorite part, is just being able to like walk out and every day is different. And it's just like such a beautiful campus to be able to walk around, even in like the really cold weather when there are really strong winds. Like it's really enjoyable to just like look around campus, especially at night, like when Rush Rees is all lit up. Like you could see it from like miles away, and it's just the most like beautiful thing ever. My least favorite part of Rochester is probably the parking. Because I have a car up there, and the parking is very limited. It's quite a challenge to get on the wait list and then actually get the parking lot that you're aiming for. So I just keep that in mind if you're planning on bringing a car up to Rochester. Just keep in mind that parking is a little bit limited.
I'm thinking about like I was like just thinking about like the least favorite thing. Okay, my favorite thing about the campus so far is the animals. Like I've been obsessed with them since I like got to Rochester. There's like actual animals on campus. Like there is a fox just like living around. I had never experienced that, and I was just like fascinated when I came to Rochester. I remember during my orientation, I was just walking around and I see an eagle eating a squirrel, and I was just like, oh wow. I was like, oh wow, I'm living in the wild. But yeah, I love that. It's really entertaining. And my least favorite thing is I don't like oh okay, I know. The hours of the dining halls maybe. But that's probably my fault because we eat like back here in Peru, we eat like really late. Like dinner is at like 8, 9, and we have lunch at like 2, 3 p.m., maybe 4. So when I got to Rochester and like lunch starts at 11 a.m. and and it closes at 3, I was like, wait, what if I want to eat at 5? But yeah, you get used to it. And I make most of my own food, so yeah.
I do want to make sure people are aware. While we do have wildlife on campus, everyone is safe from the wildlife.
Oh yeah, they're from afar.
Yeah, we've never had someone get taken by an eagle.
You see them from afar. I forgot to mention that. They're not just like, don't be scared.
I think my favorite part is there's just it's a big community. You're never really alone. And people are a lot nicer than I thought. Because like classes, I can like keep saying it, but classes can be kind of intense if you're expecting to be the smartest person in the room. Like you probably won't be, and there are high expectations for some things. But like I don't know. I thought it was gonna be like Mean Girls. Like I was expecting people to be so like people are gonna be like trying to tear you down. Like they wanted to get the high GPA, but like I've had so many people who are so much smarter than me, and they're like, all right, come on, let's do the homework together. Like I'll help you out. Like, and they'll just do that because it's just, yeah, you're all in it together, and no one really feels like they're gonna benefit if you do poorly. And my least favorite thing, I think it can be hard if you don't make friends. It can be a little more like you'll probably be spending a lot of time on campus, and so it's like if you don't need to like make friends with everyone you see, but like you will probably want to have like those study groups or just connecting with people. It'll help you out. I feel like that like sounds like it's bad, but it's just like, at least for me, I feel like I'm not very good studying alone and doing all those things alone. So it was like, it can be tough when you're like the only one in the library, you know, but people are cool. People are nice. I'm always surprised by it. It's really sweet.
Okay. So I'd start with my least favorite part because that's the thing right off the bat of my head. Transferring from a CUNY system and transferring into Rochester's administrative system is definitely not fun for me. I'm still not a fan of it. I'd say like from going from a CUNY system, there was a lot of like, I could do my own degree audits. There was a lot that I felt like I had access to, and Rochester, it's not quite that way. I'd say limited access to professors. In the CUNY system, I think I had way more access to my professors than I do here at Rochester. That wasn't fun at all. And and just like Matt said, if you're not, if you might struggle with studying by yourself, definitely make friends. And if you're on the shyer side of the spectrum, oh God help you. And yeah, like you really, because it's like you're either left up to the devices of your TAs and your professors, who, if you're not the most freely moving person, might be very difficult. So you better learn to make friends like immediately. I don't know, take a class. Yeah, the administrative side of Rochester has been difficult for me to navigate. Even like going to Lattimore, and like there's certain things like if you want to like take a course, you might have to like see a department, like stuff like that. I was very unaware of, because the CUNY system, I felt like was a lot more liberal for me. Like I just pretty much went around taking classes. Like the major requirements are pretty clear. For Rochester, you kind of have to get like a thing from your advisor. I don't think I ever met my advisor in my CUNY system, but I kind of have to meet this guy. So, so yeah,
I actually,
like
sorry.
just get the ground rolling on administrative stuff that you even while you're currently transferring right now, get very familiar with the administrations. Like just get very familiar with where you submit your transfer credit, get very familiar with who you have to speak to, get very familiar with your department chairs and stuff like that. Because they expect you're a transfer student, like you've done some school, you're not quite a kid. And I didn't attend the orientation, so my bad. My fault. So.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. Following from like Rugaya said, I actually really like the fact that you have to meet with an advisor. For like, it's like a mandatory thing. Like when you transfer, you wear sign an advisor, and like they help you through the process of like doing stuff. And I was so lost when I came to like the U of R first. And my advisor helped me so much, because she helped me navigate like the whole process, and like she was like, okay, tell me what you've done. Like we now have to do this and this and this and this, and like you have to go like to this place for that and to this other place for this. And I really like, I don't know, like for some people it just works. Maybe I'm not as independent as I thought, but I really needed the help, because I was so lost when I first got there.
Oh no, you absolutely need your advisors. I'm just saying, I didn't feel as much administrative pressure in my CUNY system. Like I
yeah,
didn't.
no, in my other university.
No, absolutely. Please see advisors. I mean that. Please see advisors.
So I think just to, I think what both Rukaya and Mafe are trying to say is it's just the fact that, because the University of Rochester has such an open curriculum, it's definitely a place where, it requires a lot more planning, and it requires a lot more administrative like support, and you taking the initiative to reach out to people. Because like for some students, that's a pro, they want that flexibility, they want that experience to really like, kind of take whatever they want and like travel willy-nilly between the different departments. And for other students, they do prefer a more structured route. And so kind of just, making sure that, when you learn about the University of Rochester, figuring out your strengths. Like if you are someone who, needs a bit more structure, making sure that you immediately, kind of sit down, come up with a game plan. If you're someone who knows that, no, I want to like experiment, I want to just kind of like see where things take me, kind of doing it along that route as well. Obviously if you come in as a junior, you're coming in with the declared major that you put down when you apply to the university. But if you come in, not as a junior, but like as a first year student or as a sophomore, you are not in a declared program yet. You're still allowed to kind of experiment and figure out what it is that you want to do. So we have only a few more minutes left. I wanted to very quickly ask you all this last question, but first, someone asked, how's pre-med at Rochester? None of y'all are pre-med, right? Yeah, so I could just very quickly talk about pre-med at Rochester. So to make sure that everyone is aware, pre-med's not a major. Pre-med is simply you take certain courses when you are an undergrad to prepare you to go to medical school. You don't have to be a biology or a chemistry major or anything like that to do pre-med. You could be like an English major and still apply to medical school. It just you just need to make sure that you take calculus, you take biology, you take chemistry, and those types of courses. And because of our open curriculum, it's possible to do that even without being a STEM major. There is, a pre-med professional organization group on campus, and our career center has professionals who can give like pre-professional advising on pre-med, just because of the fact that so many students have that interest because of our connection to the to Strong Memorial Hospital. It's right across the street from us. So that's a little bit about pre-med. The last question that I wanted to ask all of our panelists was simply, do you have any tips in general when it comes to the transfer process? Not necessarily even just to transferring to the University of Rochester, but just, when you're doing this search, any tips that you wish maybe you had known when you were doing it?
I'd say the biggest thing for me would be just enjoy the process, enjoy where you're at right now, and like really take advantage of all the opportunities wherever you end up, because it goes so fast. I can't believe that I transferred here, in spring of 2019. It's crazy how much stuff happens in such a short amount of time. And, you want to make sure that you get the most out of your experience wherever you end up. Make all those friends, go out to, get some insomnia cookies at, 2 a.m. in the morning. By the way, there's an insomnia cookies in College Town. Just like make the most of your experience, I would say.
Yeah, I would say like the same, and like just reach out to people. People are way more nicer than like you think. When I first came to the University of Rochester, I was like really scared of like people like, I don't know, making fun of me because of my accent, or I don't know, because I was like from another culture. I don't know. I was just like scared about that. And my first semester, I also like, I don't know, because of like not the loss, but because I'm transferred and I like kind of lost all of my friends from my previous university, I was kind of sad. So I didn't make a lot of friends in my first semester, and it was harder. Like when I realized that I was just like shutting down myself from others, I was like, oh, why am I doing this? Like this is like not good for me. And as soon as I started to open up to like a lot of people, my experience like became so much better. And reach out to everyone. Like people are so nice in Rochester. Professors are amazing. Like I'm gonna work with one of my professors like during the summer for research, even though like we're like thousands of miles away. Like he was like, if you need the opportunity, I'm gonna give it to you. I don't know, people are just like really willing to help you, so just reach out to people.
Yeah, but I feel like my last answer was like kind of scary about like being alone, but like you put it a really good way. Like I was just really shy my first semester, which made everything harder from like losing friends. But like, so I guess my only tip is like, the sooner you can, I guess, like put your guard down, and if that's something you struggle with, like exactly what you said, like everything just gets so much easier, and like people are just so nice and so warm.
We have to be warm because it's so cold here.
Yeah, you gotta stick together. It's the
I'd say, yeah, my response is quite similar to theirs. I think for me specifically, it takes me a while to acclimate to anything. I don't take change particularly easily. So the first semester is probably going to not be fun. Maybe give yourself like a semester or two before you entirely feel like I'm a Rochester student. And yeah, I mean, the programming certainly helps distract you from the fact that you haven't quite because my first semester, I just primarily watched a lot of movies, just attended a lot of the programming, even though I didn't quite feel like I was a part of the Rochester community quite yet. And joining activities can easily change that. Finding like, even if it's like based on your identity or whatever else, that can like very much help. But yeah, I mean, it takes a while. That's all I'm going to say. Like, don't expect it to just because I didn't have like I said, I didn't have a dream attachments to Rochester. It was pretty functional, so I didn't have it wasn't mystical. So you kind of have to mechanically do it. So.
And before we end, does anyone wanna? Because I let Matt plug in WRUR's website. Anyone want to plug in their club really quick? Maybe talk about it before I let y'all go?
You go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No.
So it's a very specific community, but if anyone is interested in getting their education completely paid for and serving in the Navy for 5 years at most, or at least, after they graduate, I'm here. You can ask me questions. The NROTC unit is a great community, and we do a lot of cool things around campus. And it's a great professional development opportunity if you're interested. So I can put my email in the group chat if any of you are interested in that. I'd highly consider it.
Well, ROTC people are amazing. I just like see you in the mornings just running around campus, and I'm like, I wish I could do that.
Thank you.
My respects. I'm actually in a sorority, and I really, really, really love it. I told everyone that when I first got into Rochester, I was just like, I cannot like isolate it because, well, I did that to myself. But my second semester, I was like, this is like over. I need to like meet people. I'm gonna like put myself out there, and I joined like a bunch of clubs. And I decided to go through recruitment for a sorority, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna see what like this is about. Like, I had no expectation whatsoever. I was like, if this is like the movies, I'm out. Um, but it was not like the movies. People are really nice, and like everyone is just like welcoming. I particularly didn't feel like any judgment or anything for being like international or for being like, you know, different from like what the movies portray. So yeah, I made so many friends, like, and yeah, I'm really grateful.
Okay, so one last thing that I'd like to really add is like just be an informed consumer of your own education. Definitely look at curriculums everywhere. Definitely look at like exactly what you want to get out of a university education before just transferring or applying ever. Because it'd be like you're doing the college application process twice and you still haven't gotten much out of it. You should like just buckle down and think exactly what you want out of an education and then go looking for it. But in terms of clubs and activities, suggest you start with your identity first. It's always easier. Sorry.
It is.
And then you can look at activities you're interested
The
in.
Latino clubs.
Yeah.
And I'm part of Campus Times, the newspaper, so I occasionally write for the humor section.
Oh,
You want
also
Oh,
what she
sorry.
said about, oh, sorry. Also what she said about knowing what you want from your education, take advantage of it. Like U of R is such a great university and the professors are so qualified. Like I would recommend just like getting to know them, ask for opportunities, and also like ask for recommendations of classes. I've gotten like great recommendations from professors. So
Okay, well, I want to thank everyone again for coming to the panel this morning. I know it was early and that it is a Tuesday, but I'm so grateful for everyone for coming. Thank you so much for everyone who attended. If anyone has any questions, you can feel free to reach out to any of the panelists who provided their emails, or you can email me in the chat box as well. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And I hope everyone is doing safe and well during these times, and I look forward to seeing some of y'all on campus.
I'm putting my email out there if anyone wants to reach out. Okay, bye.
Bye.